we have a mobile workshop in Manila. So we have the full team here, and we're going to share, we're going to present a little bit, every one of us. So you'll hear some voices you haven't heard before, which is good. Basically, I'm going to start with a little introduction. We're going to go through new features, and then we're going to talk about the priorities we have for 2017. And we're doing it very, trying to do it quickly. I'm sure it will be a long presentation anyway. Sophie, if you fall asleep, please be on mute when you start snoring.
Oh, okay. Good point.
Okay, so again, this is a slide most people have seen a lot of times before. It basically says we are trying to reach out beyond the hospitals and the clinics into the communities and villages. And for us as a mobile team, that's our job, which means that of all the interfaces, we're doing everyone except the PC. In this, over the last 4, 5, 6 months, we have especially worked with two main things. One of them is data use, so how we can get data into the hands of the field workers, and the other part is communication. So we have taken all the clients we have and extended those with those principles. In addition to that, we've done a whole lot of stuff on Tracker, which we will present. So there's one thing we have taken out, which is the mobile light tracker, so the browser client for Tracker for feature phones. The reason for that is that it's not being used anywhere we know, so it has it doesn't have any consequence taking it out. And we have reviewed the technology and the code and how it has been implemented, and it requires significant changes to scale beyond a pilot. So we decided to take it out rather than spending a lot of resources on that at this point. We are going to evaluate bringing it back into 18, so in 6 months' time, if we get requests for it. If nobody wants it, then we're not going to spend time on it, naturally. So I'm going to give the control to Paul. We'll talk about messaging and interpretation for mobile light. Paul?
Okay, so this is Paul. So I'll run you through the new features for the messaging and interpretation for mobile light. Okay, so first part would be the messaging. So previously, we could only message to a single person, but now we could send to multiple individuals. We could do that by first searching for the name, and then there will be a checkbox and add to the recipient. Then once you've added it to the recipient, then you can send it to multiple users. Okay, so that's the first feature. The next is the interpretation. You will see on the screenshot to the right, there will be a new link called Interpretations. Once you click the interpretations, you would get a list of interpretations on the first image screenshot to the left. Then if you click a single link, it will go to the interpretation page. The interpretation page would contain the chart, including the comments. Also, you could post a comment on the interpretation page. That's the second feature. Next is how to share interpretations. To share interpretations, you go to the main page, the reports, then charts. And on the bottom of the chart page, there would be a share interpretation. You would type the comment on the text box, then click the share. Okay, next. Posting comments. As I've said earlier, you can now post comments about the images, about the interpretation. You just click the post comment. further development. So as there are still changes to be done on the core code, there are some features that are not yet implemented. Something like sending messages to organization unit, more interpretation information, and ability to update interpretation comments. So to be evaluated in future versions. Oops.
Yeah. So thanks, Paul. Any comments? Is it useful?
Looks very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff. Long, I think you're next.
Yeah, this is Long, and from the SMS side, we have some new features. First of all, now you can customize your response message. Okay. I remember before you have some success message and error message that sent back to the user once they submit their SMS to the server. At that time, the message is not customized as well as cannot be localization. But now we ask for you the text field in the user interface for you to enter your custom response message for reply message of no code, for wrong message, for no user message, for user belong to more than one organization unit, and the success message. If you leave any of the field blanks, it will take the default message that you see before. Another new feature is that the completeness method for the data value SMS reporting. This is an option for completeness of the data value when the server receives the data. You have three options. The first option is that the data set will be set as complete if it receives all the data values. The second option is that it's only one data values a report is also set as complete. And the third option is that there's no data completeness at all. It means that no matter what you report to the server, the status of the data set will be kept as incomplete.
So this is in case SMS reporting needs approval from an administrative user. So SMS reports will always be tentative. Yeah.
Besides that, we also do some bug fix for some of the inconvenient bugs that we found before. First of all, that the system don't auto update data value into database. It first happens when you upgrade your server from 2.14 or the older version to the new version of the DHIS2. The second bug is that the response message sent repeatedly to one user. This one is also a little bit annoying, and that's already fixed. Besides that, in the further development, we are developing a flexible SMS solution. This is under development, so it is not ready for release in this 2.0 system yet.
Yep. Any comments on SMS?
This is Sophie. I mean, I only wanted to say that the work in Laos using SMS to report both data going into the equipment records as well as just some indicator vaccine stock level is going well in collaboration with UNICEF. And just to say that we'll connect, I'll make sure that I connect this information to the people at the University of Washington who are providing some of that technical support, but might have them follow up with you on that.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks. M, Jason, the aggregates?
Yes, this is just like for talk a few minutes ago. Now I'm going to talk about the messaging and interpretation. Basically on resume Aggregate first messaging. In order to send a message, you from the main menu you select send message, and then fill in the keyword to find a user, and then you will receive a response list of users that correspond with that keyword. If there is only one user, so it will automatically link you to the new screen to add a subject, then send a message. So in this slide, there are lots of users that you add a result. So you also have some other options to first add and add on. Admin add that user, and then if you want to search more, so you can search or add on. That means add on the result to the recipient, and then enter the subject. After and the subject, you press next to compose the message. So and then click send. So that message, if the message is sent successfully, you will see the screen of notification message sent successfully. And in the message screen, we also have conversation that allows you to view a conversation from message menu to conversation. And when you select a conversation, it will let you to see a conversation detail, and you can also reply that conversation. And that's all for the conversation. Feedback. Yeah, the feedback is very simple. You just enter feedback subject, and then enter the feedback content and press send. And the track and interpretation on the resume Aggregate, just select track from track list from main menu, and you will client will download a list of track name. Click on one track name, you will see a track image, and you will have some three options here. First, save, zoom, and interpretation. Save means allow you to save that image, the track, to your device, and zoom will allow you to see the larger track. And if you choose interpretation and you lost, if you lost the interpretation of that track, and if you choose a command, if you want to comment, just fill it in the text field and click send. That is the screenshot for command interpretation that existing for that chart. If that chart has no interpretation, you when you press the interpretation, when you select interpretation option, it will let you to new screen to add the interpretation. So that's all about the messaging and interpretation.
Thanks, Sam. So this, I think both this and the mobile light work now means that if you have a feature phone, you can now actually use data, discuss data, and share it with others. So we have now done, as we promised quite a while back, that we would get this out on the mobile clients, and I really hope that that we can get some good experiences from the field. It is a challenge to all those who didn't join today. All right. The biggest development, I think, has been to get the data media tracker up to speed with the server side tracker changes. So Sherry, can you take us through that?
Okay. for the J2ME tracker, we have some new features. First is the all track entities support. As you could notice, before we only support adding of patients and finding of patients, but now we can add other track entities. Like for example, in the screenshot we have ARC commodity. Yeah. So in order to avoid confusion, we've added the headers for the grouping so that you would be able to distinguish which are like the person and which is the ARC commodity. We have also added a single event without registration. So in order to do this, you just need to select single event without registration from the main tracking main menu, and then select the program that you would want to add information on, and then input all the information needed and press send. Next big change, I think, is a visit schedule. This visit schedule would provide the user at the facility or in an area a list of upcoming visits, or so that they would know which patients are coming and which patients are not, which patients are coming in the upcoming week. We've added this in order for the client to be able to download the information to be available offline. So if you click the search visit option, you will see two view schedule menu options, which is current visit schedule and search visit schedule. Current visit schedule is set to look for the events that is scheduled 1 week ahead and 1 week back. So that, this is something that we have identified as commonly searched by the users. So we put it there so that you don't need to choose them from the form anymore, but directly go to the result page. Then if you choose the search visit schedule, then you would be able to see the 3 combo boxes there, and then you would be able to choose which types of events you would want to look for. And then after this, you would be able to save the information offline, and then you would be able to search it through the history screen or the find instant screen. Next one is messaging. This is similar to what M has presented a while ago. Just the UI for the menu is looks a bit different, but it's the same: send message, conversations, and feedback with the same features that M has showed to us in detail a while ago. The next feature is logs. I think this would be useful for developers when they are trying to debug any bugs that they have found, or also it can also help us if we are trying to help you roll out the product and you have seen something that we cannot reproduce. Well, we would be able to use this to save any errors and check if you have found, if the logs would show anything that is not normal in the transactions that you are doing. So to be able to enable this, actually we just need to change the JAD file and add log enable save to file, and log level to the ones that are displayed on the screen on the lower left. Yeah. As I've mentioned before, we now can have data entry for offline patients. The tracker, J2ME Tracker 2.15 is very much relying on the internet connections, so you won't be able to do any transactions other than add the patient. If you would want to enter the data regarding the patient, then you would would not be able to, but right now you would be able to add tracked entity instances, and you also would be able to enter the data for the forms that that you would need and send it to the server later on. This is something like an improvement, because before we are not able to distinguish the program stages, especially if it is reputable stages. Like if it's baby postnatal, before you would see many baby postnatal in there, but there's no way to distinguish which is which. So we've added the dates on the side so that you would be able to distinguish which one is the date information that you would want to see. Also, this is an improvement that is requested by Emma. Yeah, it's that the client would now send an SMS to a registered patient if the registered patient has the mobile number registered with the client, like a welcome SMS. Bug fixes. So we have fixed some bugs like client hands on please wait if the server is incorrect. So right now, if you enter the incorrect server address, it would prompt and then ask you to enter the valid server address. The next one is patient registered in mobile client is not reflected in the web browser. There was a problem before that when you add a patient to the mobile tracker, you would be able to see it on the web client, but now it's already fixed. And also program stages are not shown chronologically, so we've added a screen so that the user can choose the program stage that you would want to enter data into. Last two is upload tracking form task plans. It's similar to the first bug that we have. And then the next one is program is marked as completed, even though user has created a new program stage. So the problem would be on the repeatable stages, wherein it's marked complete, even if the user still has created a new program stage. So all those bugs are already now fixed. As a limitation for the offline support of the tracker client, we have limited the number of tracked entity to 50 right now. So this is to avoid the client crashing and data being lost in the process.
Yep. Thanks, Sherry. I think this is a massive improvement, and we have a pilot going on in Uganda. We are getting a whole lot of feedback. So we just got a list of things that were found to be where the usability was not 100%. So there will be an update of this client pretty soon. But we now have something that works, something that's stable, something that can be used in an offline environment, and we have something that is actually now starting to be in use on J2ME and Tracker, which is a big thing for us. We're quite proud of it. Any comments to this?
Yeah, for me, congrats, because I think this is a great improvement, really is. And just a question related to the synchronization. When you are getting the data, you are introducing the data in without internet. So can you explain a bit more about how the synchronization between the mobile device and the server is done?
So how we do the synchronization?
Yes. For example, if I don't know, if you have a tracked entity in the server, and you have the same tracked entity with the same person identifier, this is going to work, the synchronization between the mobile and the server, or I mean, in which level are the synchronization have been implemented?
The synchronization now is still a little bit limited. The way we would call it synchronization is that we synchronize the data values between the server and across all the clients. For example, if you change the data value in the server, and when you try to search for that patient and see the data value of the program status of that patient, you will see that the change it reflects into every client that's connected to it. And if you submit the data back into the server, and then other clients also looking for that patient, they can see the change as well.
Okay.
So if your question is there a perfect merge between values from different clients? No, there isn't yet, and that is a hard problem. However, in most cases, the patients or the tracked entities will usually not be in touch with more than one service provider between synchronizations. So we don't think in the current use cases that we will see real life problems with the merge not being perfect. But yes, it is a potential problem, and it is something that needs to be solved across both the mobile side and the core server side.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it was a good question. hard to answer. So
I know.
So basically, what you see now is the same old technologies that we have provided clients on for a while. What we have done in this release is to take those interfaces, lifting them up to a more stable level with all the features that we have promised to give to the community, which gives us now the possibility to think ahead and what we think will be the important things in the next few months. So we're going to talk a little bit about the short-term perspective, so 3 months, which is to 17. But also a little bit about what will happen into 18 as we see it now. It's important for me to say that the scope of those releases is in no way closed. So if we get feedback from the community telling us that we need to include some other things and that's of a very high priority, we may change things. But this is the way we see the world at the moment. So the first thing is an Android Tracker SDK. So the idea here is that a lot of places, when people are launching a tracker application and they want some of their users to use Android phones or tablets, they also often have a very specific workflow, and they will want the tablet or the smartphone to support that workflow in the best possible way. This means that the generic tracker interface might not be exactly what they want for their use cases. So the question then, is it possible or feasible to create bespoke applications for those cases? And we think that yes, it is. First of all, devices are getting cheaper. You can get Android devices now for less than a beer costs in Norway. The second thing is that Android developers are very easily available, and they are quite low-cost developers. So you can actually get an Android application made if you don't need the very best. So if you're talking about creating a user interface and the workflow and packaging it up, it is quite cheap. And also, there's a point that if you create an application that's easy to use, that supports the use case, that makes it easier for people to do their job, it will actually be used. While if you force people to use something that's a bit clumsy, that will take them more time, they are less likely to use it. So we think that yes, creating bespoke applications is probably very relevant in the short-term future. And it is also, when you're talking about Android, the UI, the flow, the business logic is not too hard to do. but to create a backend that's solid, that can handle connections and connection failures and all of that, and especially offline support, is quite a lot harder. So we like doing the hard tasks, and we think that that's what we need to do. So this will be common between a lot of the bespoke applications. So this is why we are proposing a tracker SDK, a software development kit, where we implement the data model, the connection support, the offline support, and different tools such as logging and user management and authentication, stuff like that. And then you, as in the generic you, can build your own app with your own business logic and your own UI. And we think this way it is possible for us to support a lot more tracker use cases, and we can support the rollout of tracker type applications a lot faster. So what will we provide? Most likely, we will definitely provide an SDK. We know the antenatal care use case very well, so it is quite likely that we're implementing that as our example app. And we might also want to do a generic tracker app, even if it might not be used too much directly. Other people can pick it up and change it as they want to support their use case. So that's for the next 3 months. That's the big development. Does that sound interesting?
Sorry, Peter, say that again, the question?
Does that sound like an interesting proposition?
No, yeah, from Peter's side, we like the idea of having an SDK related to implement our own products. Yeah, we really like it.
Yep, good stuff. That was what I thought. The next thing we are going to start working on is tracker over SMS. So as a counterpart to tracker on the Android client for the medium level users, we also want to take tracker down out into really into the bush where people don't have subsidized phones. So to be able to work on any phone, we need SMS support. So the first use cases then will be registration. So basically enrolling people into a program. A typical scenario there is that people are enrolled, they get a program, stages start happening, and they get SMS reminders to follow up with their stages. Well, it might be immunization, it might be other things. And the second one is single event without registration. Basically, something happened, and you can report it over SMS. Those two use cases are the priority ones for SMS next 3 months. We are also working on the flexible SMS parser. This is going to be hard, and this is a little bit speculative. But we think that if we can make a parser where you can define a regular expression, parse the SMS as it comes in, then use the values you get for calling the web API. So basically you write the flow using web API calls to get information out or to put information into DHIS2, and then format and return values to respond to that SMS. So this will enable us to implement a more advanced workflow using SMS. And this is not very easy, but we are giving it a shot into 17. So we'll see. We hope that we will manage to do something that's usable. We're likely to have to ask for detailed inputs and other people's opinions when we get a little bit further out in this. Okay. Then the Android Aggregate client, Aras Abishov is working on this again this summer. He is doing this as part of Google Summer of Code, so this is actually paid by Google. Thank you, Google. He is re-implementing quite a bit of it to be better. We are discussing new features as we go along. We know he's almost finished with the dashboard, so that on the Android client you get a proper dashboard and you get better data use features. But there is still room to, if there are priority requirements, there's still room to get that into the Android client. So the other thing that's important is that we are taking over the distribution of the client. It is still Aras's work, but we will distribute this version of the client, which means that we will also be responsible for updates. And we will be able to update the client, and in case Aras should decide that he doesn't want to do this anymore, we can still continue developing it, and you won't notice that the developer has changed. So I think this was a hard requirement from PSI, I think, if I remember correctly, and we're now doing that.
Oh, great. So yeah, sorry, I know that we are one more item.
Yeah.
But okay, so yeah, if I understand correctly, so we are going to have some kind of dashboard in the next month, but also have you considered about indicator?
Sorry, about
indicators, having indicators in
the data entry screens.
Yes.
Right.
Indicator.
Yeah. So you're talking about the indicators in the data entry screen, so that you can automatically calculate new indicators as you enter data values. That's the requirement, right?
Yes.
Yes, we have thought about it, and it's not. So can you, Jose, if you can do me a favor and write up the requirement for me.
Okay.
So that I'm sure that I can have a discussion with Aras about it. We have just briefly talked about it, but I think it would be easier for me so that I don't go ahead and make it too complicated, which I think I might have done.
Okay.
So if you can write it up for me, just exactly what you need.
Okay, yes,
then
sure.
I can have another discussion with Aras about it, because I know you guys think you guys have a real need for that. So
okay. Yeah, sure. We'll do that in the next days. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
I can't promise anything, but I'll take one more round with Aras on it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good. So that's I think a quite ambitious scope for the next 3 months. We are launching 1 product update on the Aggregate client and 2 big new product ideas. So we're going to have a busy few months. Then the next thing, and this is what we see in a 6-month scenario. We have started working on SMS Feedback. This is being done as a master thesis project, which is why we cannot promise a date for it, because these guys are they are not paid. But basically, the idea here is to give proper information to people who report over SMS that will increase their data usage and motivate them to better reporting quality. So it can be that you're performing better as a health institution than last year, or you need to watch out for this particular thing, or it might be gamification. So basically saying you are now the top person in your district, or you have moved from 6th to 5th place on data completeness over the last month, or something like that. And also to involve involve the managers in that, so that we can give the managers real-time information the day after reporting. This is the situation. This has happened, and get that to them. So we also plan to support subscriptions to reports, so that you can get reports automatically if you subscribe to them. We're starting with SMS. We are considering to do email later, and we have identified a pilot project in Uganda that will start after the summer. So it's something I think that will be very, very useful for to get community health workers more engaged when SMS is the only channel. Next thing is tracker over SMS. So basically have full support for tracker stages, so that we can perform the whole tracker, so we can do the whole tracking process over SMS. Which is a very simple requirement to write down. The next one is smartphone browser client. So basically the client that you can use in the browser on any touchscreen device, be it a tablet or an iPhone or an Android phone or a Nokia phone or whatever. So the things we have to work on there is to get full tracker support, to improve the offline data entry, to link apps in a better way. The main idea we have there is to try to integrate it very tightly with the web interface, so that we can reuse most of the technology that's already there. This means so that the web interface basically can adapt to a mobile device. There's quite a lot of work that needs to be done there, helping those guys writing also for mobile phones. Some of the framework I think we have to re-implement and do over. But this is something that we will be looking at in a 6-month perspective, where we will start working with the website now, and then aim to complete that project by the end of the year. So that's what we see for 2018. I think we are quite ambitious, and I think we can do it. Any comments on the long-term plans?
I think it looks very good.
Yeah.
It's really good work. I'm quite impressed from the staff all in all.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. We are quite proud of what we're doing, actually. So, yep. Just to inform you about what happens now, we really want to get, even if the attendance to this call was not fantastic, we are going to try to force people, or to make them so interesting that we get people on to the calls, and also force them a little bit. We need to figure out how. So the next call will be in early August. The date is not 100% clear. There's an academy in Oslo that we need to coordinate with, and there's also vacation for various people. So we will find a date in early August where we will follow up. We will present some more, some clearer plans. Hopefully, we will have some other good presentations as well. And that's basically the next step. So Sophie, I hope you can get another sleepless night in early August.
Yes, absolutely. And I tried to solicit other participants on our coast, but I'll do a better job.
Yeah.
And then I thought also we should invite the team in Laos to attend as well. Or there's a technical person there.
Definitely, and so basically the invitation just went out to the mailing list. So I think we need to. I think the thing there is that we need to get them on the mailing list.
Absolutely, I'll send that information to them tomorrow.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Are you going to share this presentation somehow?
Yes, this presentation will be shared both as a PPT and or a PDF or something, and I will also share it as a recording so that people can watch the presentation that they missed. We are not so evil that we are taking that away from them.
Okay. So, and also, if I understand you correctly, so we are going to have the SDK like in 3 months, right?
Sorry?
Yeah, if I understood you correctly, expectations with the SDK is to having like in production in around 3 months.
That is the target.
Okay, great to hear.
So, and I mean, this is something. I mean, the code will be available as it goes along. So, if you want to contribute, or if you want to start using it, you don't have to wait for it to be complete, right? So,
yeah. No, from PSI, we I think that we are very interested in testing this. The SDK as soon as possible, because we have a lot of requests from the field. So because we have some like special requirements, like maybe we need to track different clients or different patients, like in different organization units. So we really need to test as soon as we can about the possibilities that I think that is going to be great to have with the SDK.
Very good. Okay, then we should probably once we have, so very soon we should have a call where we explain how we think about this from a technology point of view and how the API will work, the principles, the design principles and architecture and stuff, so that we can start that discussion, because we are of course very open for input.
Great, thank you. A good job.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.